On today's ECHE Music TV, the end of the year evaluation. It's the end of the year. Do you know where your music ministry is? This is ECHE Music TV, where we provide tips, tools, techniques, and resources to help you grow your ministry. I'm your host, Simone Henry, a music business consultant, speaker, and concert promoter. I do what I do because I believe gifted, anointed Christian artists should not be broke. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of ECHE Music TV, where we provide tips, tools, techniques, and resources to help you grow your music ministry. Today, we are going to talk about the end of the year checkup. It is the end of the year, it is November, and we're coming up on Thanksgiving. But before December comes and before January comes and we start making our New Year's resolutions, we should look back at the previous year to make sure that we're on track to do a checkup and make sure that we're keeping everything straight. Okay, but before we get to that, we are going to start off today's show with a song by Brian L. Brewer called Peace. We'll be right back. Welcome back to ECHE Music TV, and let's get right to it. Our topic today on, I'm going to set my timer because, welcome back. That was a wonderful song by Brian L. Brewer. We are going to jump right into our topic for today called the end of the year checkup. Basically, what we want to talk about, it's a list of things to make sure that you are keeping everything straight in your music ministry and everything is running smooth so that you can prepare yourself for the next year, right? So let's talk about your physical assets, your equipment. These are questions that you need to be asking. Do you have damaged equipment? Do you need to replace something? Do you need to repair something? Is it more cost effective to replace it than repair it? Did you lose anything this year that you need to replace? Sometimes it's easy to misplace some things. Do you need to purchase new equipment? I went over that already. How well are your supplies stocked? Do you have batteries, duct tape? Are all your cords in place? What about your merch and your displays? How much, take stock of how much you sold this year. Do you need to restock? Do you need to reorder some things? Are some things selling better than other things? Maybe you should focus more of your energy on one item than another item, or discontinue an item that's not really selling that well. Should you try something new? Maybe, maybe you should try a funky new hat or a new t-shirt design, or maybe you're putting out a new project this coming year and you need to add some items that go along with the branding of the new project or the new single. Do you have any damaged merchandise? What can you do better so that that doesn't happen? Are your merchandise cases in good shape? Is your table display in good condition? Do you have a rip in your tablecloth? Maybe that needs to be replaced or sewn up if you're handy with that. I'm not that handy with needle and thread. Um, so I would probably just replace mine. But what's working well? And what was hard to use or difficult to transport? Maybe you need a different type of banner stand because the one you're using is just keeps falling over. It just makes it difficult for you to get it up, to get it to stand up properly. Um, what do you need to redesign or replace and get an upgrade? Does your display fit with your overall look and the brand? What if like I said before, if you're doing a new project or a new single and you've got you want to do some new branding around that, then well, maybe your merch display should reflect that as well. Does a cash box work well for you? Do you process credit cards? Is that working well? Is What about your credit card processor? Is it too expensive? Do you need to maybe switch to something else? What about your vehicle? Are you using a van, a trailer, a car? Can everything fit? Is it adequate for your needs? Did it break down this year? How can you avoid breakdowns in the future? What repairs and maintenance need to be done? Do you have a first aid kit? Is it fully stocked? Is your toolkit fully stocked? Have you run into situations where you've needed a screwdriver and you didn't have one? Is your car in good shape? Does it need to be cleaned out? If you're going on a long road trip and you're touring, you want to make it as comfortable as possible as you're traveling. You're spending a lot of time in that vehicle, so it should be cleaned well. And also when you get to a venue, it it just presents well when you have a nice clean car, right? Do you need to purchase a different trailer or truck? What's the most cost effective way? If you listen to Dave Ramsey, he would say save up the money and buy it in cash. That way you don't have to worry about debt payments. And so it's not as big a deal if you don't make as much money on the road or with your merch or with your CDs, because you're not having to make debt payments. What about your office supplies? What about your computer? Is it in good condition? Is it adequate? Does it have the software you need on it? Are your files backed up and stored in a different location? Do you have an external hard drive? Do you have a cloud backup system that you're using? What about other supplies, Sharpies, paper, the markers that you use to autograph your CDs with? Do you have one of those convenient CD openers? Toner, ink cartridges for your printer? Do you have folders, binders, things like that? Um, what about your work area? Is it orderly? Is it neat? Is it clean? Is it organized? Do you have, what about your telephone? Is your cell phone plan what you need? Do you keep running out of data? Maybe you need to upgrade. Maybe you need to upgrade the phone. Maybe you need to upgrade your data plan. Maybe you need to downgrade your data plan. Maybe you're not using it that much if you're always in places that have Wi-Fi. Those are some questions to ask yourself about your tangible assets. When we come back from this break, we're going to talk about intangible assets. Are you a Christian artist who has recorded at least a single, but not sure where to go from here? Are you looking for performance opportunities, but not sure where to start? Hi, I'm Simone Henry, the founder of ECHE Music, and I've set aside time in my schedule to speak specifically to your needs. Schedule a call with me now at echemusic.com/MMA. That's ECHE music.com/MMA. I'm looking forward to talking with you. All right, we're back. So let's go over some intangible assets that we need to talk about for this end of the year checkup. We want to make sure that everything is in order and decent. Like the Bible says, everything should be handled decently and in order for our ministries to run smooth. So let's talk about intangible assets. What about your internet presence? Now is a good time to make sure that your website, your Facebook page, your Twitter profile, Instagram, YouTube channel, your Wikipedia page is up to date. You have dates on there for your upcoming shows and your upcoming performances, that your pictures are up to date, that your bio is up to date. This is a good time to make sure that all of those things are up to date, so that when people are looking at them, they're not seeing say, show dates from last year and none from this year and from this year coming. You also want to make sure that any information, any bio information, update the press clippings in your EPK, things like that. Make sure those things are all updated. Did you release a new project this year? Did you update the branding on your website and in your Facebook page and your Twitter profile and all your online presence so that everything looks seamless and together? We talked a lot about branding this year. So one thing we want to make sure with branding is that your logos are the same across all your platforms, your photos, like your headshots, are the same across platforms, because you don't want people to be confused when, say, they go to your website and they see one thing, and then they go to your Facebook page and it looks and you look completely different. What about other platforms that play your music, like CD Baby, Amazon, Bandcamp? Make sure your settings are correct, and and they are all up to date and with your newest projects as well as the old ones. Because if you bring somebody to the site for your new music, it's good for them to see your old music as well so that they can check that out. And who knows, you make more sales that way. Have you checked your artist name against other artists that are out there? Do you have a file where you keep things that prove that you're using your name, right? Tickets from your shows, flyers, posters. Do you have a partnership agreement with your group or your choir so that everybody knows where they stand? Everybody knows, like, when money starts coming in, what the split is going to be. You always want to keep that straight, and everybody knows where they're going to be. Um, your songwriting and recording. Are you on track to release your next project? Do you have a timeline? Are you meeting your deadlines? How many more songs do you need to write or choose? Do you have a system for your songwriting? Are you carrying a notebook around with you? Do you have a notebook? I carry my phone, and I have Evernote in my phone and on my tablet. So anytime I have an idea, I can just write it down. So is how you're writing down your song ideas, is that working for you? Do you need to update that? Do you need to change what you're doing? Do you need to get something like Evernote, or do you prefer just good old fashioned pen and paper? um, what about your cover art and your inserts? Do you have a reliable graphic designer, somebody who is going to be there for you, who is affordable yet also professional and does their graphics in the way that makes sense for you and your brand? Are you pressing CDs this year? Who's doing that? Who's doing the duplication? Who's doing the packaging? Do you need to change providers? Was your last provider, just fine? Are you going to distribute with the release with the same people? Have you chosen a digital distributor? Um, did the last one work well for you? If not, maybe it's time to research a new one and change it up. What about your copyrights? Reevaluate your decisions to register or not register your songs with the Copyright Office. Check to see who owns which songs, and make sure that they're correct and stored safely. I've had It's very interesting how artists who spend a lot of time and energy on writing their songs, recording them, uh, it spends a lot of money in the studio and marketing them. But then in the end, I don't know, a couple of years later, they can't find that music. They can't find the masters or the recordings. Are you keeping these things in a safe place? You shouldn't have to go and ask, a radio personality or somebody that you've given um, you've distributed your music to for your songs, or have to go back to a download store and buy your music all over again. It's your music. They should be in your possession, and all your copyrights should be straight. There's music that I play on this show that the copyright is not actually, like, the YouTube's content ID does not actually pick up some of these songs. So it's good to make sure that that is straight, because a person like me, or a radio station, anybody like that, when they're playing your music, you want to make sure that you're getting paid for those streams. What about your marketing? Are your press kits up to date? Do you need to change it? What about your contracts? And look at your past interactions with the media. What can you be doing better? How, maybe go back over some tapes and some videos, and, you know, just evaluate like how you did. Did you say what you wanted to say? Did you leave something out that you really wanted to put in there and wanted to let people know? Having that media attention is rare, and it's a rare opportunity. So you want to make sure that you are using it to the best of your ability. So also, let's see, check out, like, determine what you can do to get some more airplay. Um, what about your single, your most popular song? Is it radio ready? Is it less than 5 minutes long? That is very important. What about a one sheet? Do you have a one sheet? Is it up to date? And do you have a recent photo? A lot of times, you might be using a photo from years ago that needs to be updated. You've changed your hair, you've changed the way you do your makeup, you used to have a part on this side, now it's on this side. It's good to update all of that. So that is my end of the year checkup for today. And I wanted to make sure that some things that just some questions that you ask in order to make sure that you are on track for the next year, and that you are taking care of all of these things, and making sure that you know um, that you're not leaving anything behind, you're not sweeping anything under the rug, and you're not and that you're where you want to be, that you're staying on track. Okay, so that is the show for today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching ECHE Music TV. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss an episode. To receive the free gift mentioned in this episode, or to have your song featured, please visit us at tv.echemusic.com.